Once again, a very good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to historic Doyle Field in Leominster as we welcome you to Game 2 of an opening spring season tripleheader here on Rivalry Family Media. Boys lacrosse takes center stage, same two schools. Littleton finds themselves on the road at Leominster. Both teams come in with 1-0 overall records. They had fantastic starts to their season. Littleton, a 5-2 victory over a strong St. Bernard's Bernardians team earlier this week. Leominster starts off with a rough first quarter, goes down 6-1 in the first quarter, and overcomes that 6-1 first quarter deficit to beat a strong Neshoba squad 9-8 in overtime earlier this week, as both schools come in with 1-0 overall records in the middle game of our 3 games here on Rivalry Family Media. Baseball wraps things up. Girls lacrosse wrapped things up earlier on today with a big victory here at historic Doyle Field. And now the boys take center stage. And Kate, we were talking about this earlier on in our very first broadcast of the day. Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins along with you for this one. And Kate, we were talking about it earlier on today. 700 days off between action. Leominster and Littleton coming for you. First, though, before the face-off, we have the national anthem here inside historic Doyle Field. Leominster and Littleton, a battle of 1-0 teams to open up the boys lacrosse season here at historic Doyle Field. As we get ready for action, Kate, right before our national anthem, I had pitched in your general direction the point. 700 days off. We talked about it in the top of the broadcast, very first game of the day. 700 days off approximately between games here at historic Doyle Field for these teams, and here we go. I know Coach Colin Davis is fired up, and his team is fired up. Huge win earlier this week to get the action rolling, and here we go. They get their first game on home turf.
It's gonna be interesting. You can feel the energy out of both of these squads. I had an opportunity to go down there and check in with both coaching staffs. You can feel it. They're excited. I know that Coach Colin Davis knows that Littleton has been a formidable opponent in Central Mass lacrosse over the last several handful of years. So another tough test for the Leominster Blue Devils. And one of the things, and Coach Davis was very candid, they're trying to make up for lost time. You're dealing with a situation where you may have had a JV freshman. Now all of a sudden you turn around and they're a junior because you've missed an entire year of development. So you're asking these student athletes to make an awful big jump, some of them from JV to varsity, some of them were freshmen or sophomores, they were underclassmen, and now all of a sudden they find themselves as juniors and seniors having to be thrust into leadership roles. And we know that the Leominster lacrosse program has recently graduated some very formidable athletes, especially in their keeper who went to Curry College over the last year or so. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup. Leominster has its work cut out for them, and Littleton's got a great program. So we'll see what ends up happening today.
The ball's at the center X. It's dug out by Littleton, but Leominster will find control. Ball still bouncing all the way down to goalie Colin Murphy as we see the goalie matchup. Colin Murphy of limited equipment will start with the big stick to our left. Meanwhile, for Leominster on the other end of things, Devin Smith, the senior, starts in the cage for the Blue Devils. Leominster wearing the white tops, white bottoms, trimmed in royal blue front and back, and the royal blue and back helmets across their tops. Got some neat devil logos on either side, perspective-wise as well.
Already you can see the cadence a heck of a lot different than what we saw in our previous matchup earlier in the day. You have to understand that the boys lacrosse game and the girls lacrosse game are nearly totally different animals. They go by the same name. Some of the rules are similar, but you're dealing with a whole different ball game here in the boys game. So it's going to be a little bit different. There's going to be a lot more contact. There's going to be a lot more hacking. There's going to be a lot more wailing and flailing that goes along. The physicality in this one is going to be very interesting to watch. Much more akin, as you said in our previous broadcast, to a hybrid of soccer and hockey in the boys game than a hybrid of soccer and field hockey like we would see in the girls game.
Leominster on the attack. That's Mason Broussard. He'll drop the ball off there for Brandon Lyons, and Leominster is content right now with playing catch on the offensive end.
Littleton's defense really spreading things out, pushing Leominster quite a bit away from that cage. And as you said, a lot of stick work, a lot of ball handling behind the cage, especially in the boys' game. Gio
Armand from X rolls around, shot knocked down by Murphy, and he will corral. First big scoring opportunity for either side goes the way of the Blue Devils. And here we go in transition, taking the hacks all the way down the field. It's Timothy Kelleher, the senior. He will drop the ball off into the offensive set, and we'll see a substitution on the sideline.
Those long sticks from the middies, those can be when those get going. That gets a little bit scary when they're taking those hacks.
Two defensive long stick middies on either side usually. Leominster right now playing with 3 out there. So those are those longer defensive pulls that you will see, again, usually on the defensive end, occasionally in transition to the offensive end of the field as well. Ball will bounce in front of the cage, ultimately knocked loose, still working for it. Littleton comes out with it, stripped once again, loose ball. Everybody giving up the body there over to the near side. That was Kittredge going down to the ground.
2 things Kittredge did on defense on that particular possession by Littleton. He was able to get his stick up, and he was able to tip one of the passes from Littleton while they were on the attack, and then gave up his body, kind of that duck and roll maneuver to kind of square things off. Littleton back on the attack now, looking to try to penetrate Leominster's defense, but it has been formidable thus far.
Looking far post, it was Lochen, and he will miss wide. Back up, won by Littleton as they were along the back line, as we mentioned. Parallels between the women's game and the men's game. In this particular case, ball goes out of play. Team closest to it gets the ball back on the restart. This is Lochen, and Lochen snaps low corner and beats Smith.
That took Bill Thomas by surprise. I didn't hear that one.
I just barely caught that in the net. That shot caught me by surprise, and just barely caught that in the net on the backside of the camera angle.
Dylan Lochen finds the back of the cage, the sophomore, to open up the scoring. 8:59 to play here in quarter 1. Littleton grabs the early lead. 30 less seconds per quarter the boys are playing in this season, so 12-minute quarters, 4 12-minute quarters of action. The face-off X is another thing that you will see that is distinctly different. Women's game, of course, about draw control. Ball gets thrown up in the air. Boys game, it's a scrum at a face-off X, as both players have their sticks equal width apart. Ball placed in the middle. They have to dig it out. Both players flying to the near sideline. You see the substitutions, run on and run off, just like you would in a hockey game. It is active substitutions. You've just got to get over to the near sideline. Bill Thomas, there'll be nothing short of exciting action going up and down the field here.
I've already seen an increase in intensity in the first couple of minutes here.
Goes with a bounce shot there, does Kelleher, and he misses wide. Back up one by Littleton.
And that's a skill set that we didn't see earlier in the women's game. We didn't see the bounce pass. They were going, we saw a lot of action at center mass in the girls' game. And we saw, especially with Santucci from Leominster.
Snap shot wide of the net. That was Noyes. Leominster diving to win the backup. That was Kittredge again to win that backup, giving up the body.
He's been stellar giving up his body there, especially on defense. It's been stellar to see. It's a big shift change here for both squads coming up around midfield. Leominster working on getting in transition, waiting for their personnel to get settled.
And Kittredge with the giveaway in transition, scooped up loose on the ground ball. Ryan Lochen will turn it in transition. Ultimately, ball gets poked loose again. Another ground ball. This one goes to Witherell. And he will send the ball back to Lafferty, who will slow the pace. Another substitution brings Kelleher back onto the field. Littleton right now and their coaching staff, Mike Blanchard, playing a little offense for defense. And I know one of the things that concerned Coach Blanchard was being able to hang with the Blue Devils scoring-wise. They drew first blood. That was important, but they had 5 goals in their first game. Leominster scored 9. Much lower scoring lacrosse game, especially on the men's side, than you're used to seeing. Double digits, very common. Low sidewinder! Snap to the back of the cage goes there. Put another one on the board. This one, Ryan Lochen.
Quick offensive spurts right there, and the boys are not afraid to shoot, and they use that bounce shot very effectively.
Coach Blanchard shouldn't be worried about offensive production right now. 7:12 left here in quarter 1 and a 2-0 Tiger lead.
Littleton right now taking advantage of every single time that they are on the attack, and they've been able to penetrate Leominster's defense fairly efficiently. Not a lot of shots on goal, but they've been very effective and very efficient in their attack. And right now, sans Kittredge on the defensive end for Leominster. Leominster's defense really does need to figure out how to lock things down a little bit, because right now, clearly showing a little bit of cracks, I guess, in the foundation here, and letting Littleton really be efficient and effective on the attack. Not a lot of opportunities, but they've been doing a really nice job being efficient.
Ryan IAC found some room and was able to control the face-off for Leominster. Got some fans close to that crowd mic out there as well. You're hearing the action. Good crowd on hand for this morning's game. A little more sparse, maybe joining us here via Facebook this afternoon. Middle game of a triple header today. Girls lacrosse started the action off this morning. A Leominster victory over Littleton. Leominster, Littleton, and boys lacrosse right now. Leominster, Neshoba coming up to close it out in baseball in the end of the triple header action. If you stay with us all night long here on RFM. And the snapshot kicked away there by Murphy.
Beautiful job on the defensive end for the Tigers.
It was Brandon Lyons, the sophomore, real tall, went from high to low, trying to come across the goal mouth. That one thrown away, an unforced error in transition by the Tigers. Leominster will get the ball in the backup.
And while we have just a quick second, I just want to take the opportunity. One of the things that becomes a little bit interesting is that by the time we've gotten to the spring season, a lot of parents, I've been talking to some parents from away teams, a lot of the parents don't necessarily know what the fan rules are. And so there are people that are kind of hesitant to come to the various venues because of that, because not everybody knows what the rules is. The student athletes certainly, they're just being, told what they are. And sometimes you get high school students and they're not real big into letting people know we got a flag on that.
Lions rattled the cage. Flag is out. That one thrown wide. Leominster wins the backup, and it looks like a slash. Let's hear what the officials have to say.
14/1 minute.
And so Leominster's Mason Brassard, the junior, gets sent off for the slash for the 1-minute man-up opportunity for the Tigers. Oh, it was Littleton. Littleton's man got sent off. Thank you. So
well, he said blue, and you assumed.
Yes, that's correct.
Nice job, bud.
DiLorenzo gets sent off. Thank you. The shot snapped wide, so Leominster with the man-up opportunity and snared out of the air again by Murphy.
Todd, you're programmed, huh? Blue.
I was going to say.
Dark blue.
Blue.
Leominster's wearing white today.
Indeed they are. Back downfield, this is Kelleher.
I'm going to keep that flag up while they are on man up. So I'm just going to keep that up there for the 1 minute.
Bear with.
Well, I bear with. That's what I've decided.
Okay. It's fine.
It's my score graphic. I'll do what
You'll
I
do
want.
what you want. Littleton with the giveaway and lost out of play. Again, that will turn over regardless of the backup if you throw the ball away in the process. I will postulate a question to you. What do you do if there's another flag in the middle of a man-up opportunity?
Just emphasize it.
Flash it. We'll work on a man-up graphic for subsequent broadcasts. How's that sound? Loose ball gets rolled into the middle. Tigers with control. This is Aiden Leduc with the long stick on the offensive end of the field. 4.5 minutes.
Release.
Mike Griffin, official score up here, releases the man-up opportunity, and so we're back to even strength on all sides.
Coaching staff for Littleton calling out plays, trying to set up their attack. Leominster's defense trying to organize itself out there as well.
This is Lochen, already with a goal today.
Things slowing down.
Indeed they are. He snaps for a flash in front of the net. It was Johnson, got roughed up from behind. That was Kittredge that was on that one. The backup stays with Littleton, they say. And so Littleton has the ball in the restart. This is Johnson. Working from the back of the cage. The Nets move forward, remember, from the women's game this morning. So using those front circles creates more space behind the cage. Working from that X position. A lot more room to take the ball behind the cage and set things up in the men's sport.
It creates a 360-degree dynamicism that I think is a little bit lacking from the women's game. You have a lot of play from that X position behind the cage in the men's game. And so it really does bring, you know, this full circle 360-degree action that really does, you know, it brings a lot of excitement to the game.
Spilios with the long stick takeaway creates this offensive opportunity for Leominster. So he gets bounced around, scooped up by Iacey. Iacey comes to the right of the cage. Loose, scoops it up.
He needs some help. Sends
it back through X. It was lost. Over here to the near side, it's Halstead. And now Coach Colin Davis wants to talk things over, stopping the clock with the timeout. 3 minutes left here in the first quarter. His team chasing two, and right now, Bill Thomas, not seeing a lot of cohesive offense out of Leominster. They're just ripping the ball at the cage, hoping to find the back of the net.
Not only chasing two, but they're chasing themselves around with no real direction on what their offensive strategy is going to be right now. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what the coach wants to emphasize here, if he wants them to work it back to front, attack the net, or maybe try to work that weak side. We'll have to see what kind of strategy they come out for offense.
And Billy, it's an interesting point that you make. Because Littleton went up so quickly, I think it put Leominster, especially their attack, on their heels a bit. And all of a sudden, you go out with a game plan, and it's one of the, you know, one of those things in athletics. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, right? And so when you get punched real quick,
Mike Tyson?
Yes. When you get punched quickly like that, right out of the gate, all of a sudden you kind of get pushed back on your heels. And if you can't, you know, settle yourself and redirect right away, it takes a little while for you to get settled. And I think that that's what we're seeing out of the Leominster Blue Devils. They went out with a game plan, and it did not go to plan. Things haven't crumbled. I mean, they're only down by 2 here, but they've gone through an entire quarter without having any efficiency on offense. They were on their heels. Primarily, they were in their defensive zone. They were having to constantly play defense against a formidable attack from Littleton. And we know that Coach Colin Davis from Leominster knows that they had an uphill battle going up against Littleton. It's a situation where they knew that they were going up against a very well-coached, I mean, Colin Davis could not have said more nice things about the coaching staff of Littleton.
Littleton's dominated this region for the last 5 years, and Leominster's well aware of that, and they'd like to get their little measure of revenge when they have the opportunity.
The experience on this Leominster coaching staff goes in addition to Coach Colin Davis. Of course, he notes in his pregame notes, which Coach Colin Davis, A+ for the pregame notes. Ken Aubuchon, of course, was the father of one of the Leominster Blue Devil players, was also their offensive coach for a number of years. Moved over, now the head coach of the girls program we saw this morning. And so that gave Coach Davis an opportunity to hire Tyrese Perez, who was the captain of the 2018 Blue Devils, played lacrosse at Wentworth before coming back here to Leominster to run their offense. Tim Gorman continues as the Leominster goalie coach. The former boys director of Leominster Youth Lacrosse, Jeff Dallaire, is a volunteer assistant this year. And Frank Mooney is the JV coach. So a total program program here, a lot of investment. And again, fastest growing sport in youth athletics is absolutely this sport. And you just spend 5 or 10 minutes watching and you understand why.
Yes, absolutely.
This is Lions with control. Lions looks at the flash, front of the cage, shot and score. Gio Armand on the attack. The sophomore goes low and finds the back of the cage and gets Leominster on the board. 2:35 left here in quarter one. It's a 2-1 Tiger lead.
They came back and reset that previous play, Todd, where they tried to run that break on that right side, but they missed the net, but they regained control. Went right back to that right side deep, passed it in close, and ran a nice little give and go there, cutting through the middle, ends up with a goal.
And what a nice job. Clearly, some adjustments being made with the timeout. Obviously, now hindsight being what it is, we know a great timeout choice by Colin Davis and the Leominster coaching staff to reset things, and all of a sudden you have some offensive production. So clearly, mid-game adjustment, a nice job by Leominster to listen and to do what they're told.
Leominster will ultimately pick up the ground ball off of that face-off. Gio Armand, one of the sophomores, this sophomore-laden Blue Devil team that Coach Davis knows needs to get ramped up and gets familiar with their varsity time. Technically, you can see there's definitely the skill out there. It's still raw. Coach Davis is definitely working to form this clay, but they've got the quicks, they've got the stick work, they've got the movements. Now it's about putting it all together.
And think about the varsity minutes that they're getting. Very rarely, especially on the boys' side, do you see a sophomore-laden team. If you take a look at marquee sports like football or basketball or baseball, you're primarily going to have junior and senior-laden teams. Lacrosse has become one of the marquee sports here in Central Mass in the last decade, and to have a sophomore-laden team, that means that you're going to have several seasons of varsity experience under their belt. By the time they become juniors and seniors, this team could become very, very formidable.
Indeed they can. This is Green, the senior, comes to the near side for IAC. IAC looks at a flasher going to the cage. That was Broussard. Missed the mark, but Leominster able to back it up.
You can see him looking there for that cutter. That play just took too long to develop.
And those are the types of things that as they develop, you will see that transition get better.
The officials reversed that as it was a Leominster giveaway. So on that note, they send Murphy, the Tigers do back. He's out of his cage. That means he's the same as any other player, and he took some hacks, but able to transition the ball to the offensive side of the field for the Tigers.
Murphy's been struggling with the passes from that keeper position.
This is Noyes. Noyes will drop the ball behind the cage for Johnson, the freshman. Back and forth, they play catch here in the lower right corner of the field.
Leominster's trying to make sure they don't lose any of their marks.
Final 40 seconds here of the first quarter. Our graphic has advanced itself, but it is first quarter action.
Oh, all right, well that's fun. Sorry about that, y'all.
No worries.
If I touch it, that's the
You just
time.
leave it be.
Yeah,
We'll get it fixed up for the second quarter. This is Noyes.
My bad.
And
Timeout.
Coach Mike Blanchard will spend the timeout.
He wants one more
19 seconds before the end of this first quarter. And Kate, I agree with you. He would like a 2-goal lead once again at the end of the quarter. And so they will come in for a quick meeting. The officials also having a stick check coming here to the near side. There's some concerns expressed about equipment and sticks. The officials are checking out the pocket here on the stick of Ryan Lochen.
Those are fun when they do stick.
Yeah,
checks.
so they've actually they're checking the length of said stick. They pulled out a tape measure right out of his pocket, and you can see him actually measuring it up.
If they're stretching that tape out, this stick's pretty long.
I would seem to think so,
They
Bill
do that.
Thomas.
They do that
No,
regularly
across the pocket.
in the
All right,
men's
so let's
game.
see what's going on here, actually. You know, maybe it's a good opportunity to talk about the equipment, because the equipment's much different here in the girls than what we saw in the girls.
When you can see the
Came from
officials
the sticks.
checking that pocket, Bill Thomas.
Yep.
So the boys' stick has a pocket, much akin to a baseball
Looking
glove
for
or
the
a softball
depth.
glove.
It looks like the depth of the pocket is what they're looking for.
And then the length, because you're only allowed so
Right.
many long sticks to be out there offensively, obviously, just like you would see in hockey. There's a conforming nature to the sticks, the pocket, and things of that nature.
And these are routine checks. This is.
And there is a
They don't
flag
like it.
out, so much for a routine.
No.
See what the call is here.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
absolutely the
so
Littleton stick.
They were
Ryan
measuring
Lochen.
2 sticks, one from each team.
Yeah, and they regularly
Comparison.
do that
Yes.
for these situations. 2 minutes.
And so that is a 2-minute 2 minutes for the illegal stick called against Littleton. So Leominster will be man up for 2 minutes. Huge, huge opportunity here.
So how does the stick become illegal? Does it get stretched out? Is it?
Say either the pocket or the stick. It could be, you know, Bill Thomas over time that it does stretch out, or they string it in such a way. I mean, you can see that pocket is very well defined. As the coaching staff looks at it, they may just need to restring it.
And you can see the way some of the players have tied the pockets up on their sticks differently.
Now here's my argument. That pocket scored a goal in the first quarter of action.
Can you go back?
Not for nothing. Not for
nothing.
nothing.
Would have to maybe challenge it at the time of the goal?
At the time of the goal, potentially. Yeah. In the women's game at the college level, they actually have to drop the stick after it scores.
Yes.
And the officials check the stick right at that moment. Clearly not the case at the high school level.
That's always fun in the women's game at the NCAA level. They score and the stick goes right to the ground. Yep. That's a lot of fun to watch.
Because they have to be able to check that right away, right when the score happens.
It looks very demonstrative when you see it at the women's game at the NCAA level, and then you realize what it is. And you're like, oh, okay. But it's still fun to watch.
So this 2-minute man-up opportunity for Leominster, as they say, is locked in, which means they cannot release it with a goal. You have a similar rule to hockey and available in lacrosse. A goal scored when you are man up might release said penalty, except in certain circumstances. And the official pointed out this is locked in. This is a 2-minute penalty on Ryan Lochen, no matter what, as the final 19
carry over
seconds.
for a minute and 40 seconds into the next quarter.
That is correct as well. 1 quarter in the books here from historic Doyle Field. 2-1 Tigers on top of Blue Devils through the first quarter of action. And a defensive-laden game thus far, Bill Thomas, with only a couple of goals.
Saw a little bit of everything there, but those 2 quick goals, and then team settled down and played defense. Leominster did get one back, but it was really the defensive end of the field that was controlling the action there and not letting anything coming through the middle. Okay. I tell you, we learned something. First about illegal sticks.
Yes.
And you know how important the equipment is, because we didn't really talk about equipment in the girls' game, but I think it's really all about the different equipment that we're seeing here in this boys version.
Well, and that is what allows the increase in contact. Boys all wear helmets. Girls just wear the goggles, much like you'd see in field hockey. Boys do have those protectors on their arms. They've got gloves akin to hockey. They're a little thinner when you actually get to see them up close, but they are akin to a hockey glove in the grand scheme of things. Obviously, the sticks, they have a chest plate, and those chest plates are so vitally important because there were circumstances in the past where balls would contact players in the chest and could potentially stop a heart. That's how hard the ball is, and really just how fast that ball is flying through the air in action.
And one of the other things that I always found striking with regard to this game, you think about bat ball sports and how personalized the equipment is. Like, if you think about an infielder's glove versus an outfielder's glove in a softball or a baseball, same thing with you know, bats relative to weights and lengths, etc. In the boys' game of lacrosse, it's very similar. If you go into a sporting goods store, or if you take a look at the various crosses, you have all sorts of different availability relative to material, relative to all the accoutrements that go with these sticks. It's not as if you just go into the sporting goods store, you pick up the first stick that you see. These are completely customizable pieces of equipment, and just like equipment for a bat ball sport where everything becomes, you know, very much about feel and exactly tailoring it to what you like, the same thing goes on with these crosses. They all, you know, they all may look similar and the same, but you're going to see a lot of that personalization in the accoutrement. There's literally 5 people in the stadium and somebody's right next to the crowd mic.
Might have to adjust that at halftime.
You think?
But that's okay. We don't mind crowd participation.
We love a little fan participation.
As it's clean.
That's right. Second 12-minute iteration up on the board. Middle game of a triple header of action to open the spring season here at historic Doyle Field. Todd Robbins with Bill Thomas and Kate Robbins and you. And great to have you along with us here on Rivalry Family Media.
One additional reminder, Leominster is going to be man up for about 1 minute and 40 seconds of this second quarter to start things off. So let's see how they are on the attack here. Right,
and I see us changing ends here.
Yes, they are. So Leominster now going to go left to right here in the second quarter of action. They've got to start to pick up. We'll see what Coach Colin Davis had to say about this offensively. But with this man-up opportunity, you've got to try to capitalize. This is Daniels. Surveys the field and then drops it off for Broussard. Broussard swings it around for IAC. Tries to hit a flashing Lions. Not able to secure the ball. Now a ground ball loose. Scooped up, pushed down, and ultimately out of play and in possession for Littleton. And so here they come in transition. On the horse, it's Kelleher.
And if you're Leominster, that's the last thing that you wanted, to allow Littleton to be able to clear that out of their defensive zone, get into around midfield, and now they can just hang out. If they can retain possession, hang out until
nice
that flag is down.
Indeed, Leominster, that's Vitone with the hit. And he is a small, quick, feisty defender that you're going to see working that midfield. See him a little on the offensive end, see him a little on the defensive end. Noticed him during warm-ups. The quicks was something that really stood out to me with the junior midfielder Vitone.
You know, when you look at the difference in sizes amongst the kids, so this is one sport I think that size can be neutralized by speed and quickness.
Now, and you see the distinctive difference. So if you put Vitone up against Brandon Lyons, very different height-wise players, but again, can be effective, as you point out, Bill Thomas, because this is a lot more about quicks than it is about height. Lyons looking for the lefty shot. He'll snap it back behind to X. This is Armand. Armand will try to roll out. He will find an opportunity up, and the 2-minute man-up opportunity is cleared for the Tigers. They were able to keep Leominster off the board in that 2-minute interval. This is Broussard.
Leominster 0 of 2 when they've been man-up thus far.
One-time shot jumping through the air. Nathan Taylor strikes.
That was a nice play.
Walked right in.
Wow.
Right over the top.
Everybody wants to be a color commentator.
Right over the top.
Do you want me to go move it?
Yeah, please.
I'll go move it.
Or at least make somebody aware of what's going on.
I'll go move it.
10:06 to play in the second quarter. We're tied at 2 here at historic Doyle Field.
Goal?
That was Nathan Taylor, the senior, with the jump shot
I love it.
on the one time.
Nice pass from behind the goal. Find him on the move in the middle.
On the face-off, swept out by the Tigers. Ball bounces loose, and Spilio steps up with the long stick, and he'll bring Leominster onto the offensive end. Lions not able to secure that one. And ultimately, it rolls its way to Murphy, who will scoop it up. Murphy goes long distance, looking for one of his long sticks there. It was Leduc. Into the boundary, and the ball will go back to Leominster as it was a Tiger giveaway. Halstead with the ball in transition for the Blue Devils. Cradles it down that left sideline. Green finds Lyons. Now goes back top looking for Green. He lost it, but it rolled on to Daniels. Daniels for Lyons. Lyons has kind of set up shop, Bill Thomas, on this side of the restraining area, and he's kind of hung out there.
It looks like he's got a left-hand shot, too. He's waiting to take advantage of it.
This is Taylor. Throws a little head fake, rolls to X. He'd like to roll to the center. Flag is out on the play. Snap shot backed up by Leominster, and we'll see how the penalty plays out.
Call is.
It's a slash call, and it was a 1-minute penalty.
I believe it's on.
It looked like they pointed toward the Blue Devils side, and I heard 3 was the number.
I don't see anybody in the
but
box.
no,
Right
it was Littleton. Even though they motioned in this direction,
right here.
It is. It's Littleton 3. Connor McNeil, the sophomore, will go once again. Be penalized on the flag. Leominster man up again. Third opportunity. Currently 0 of 2. 8:50 to play here in the second quarter. We're knotted at 2. This is Lyons. You almost feel a little bit, Bill Thomas, like Leominster might be being just a skosh too choosy.
Well, they're looking for that perfect shot, but Littleton's not giving them any openings. But that give and go in that last goal, streaking towards the net, that's what they're looking for. But they're not going to find that on every possession.
Halstead drops it off for Broussard. Broussard rips a shot, 5-hole, scores on the man-up opportunity.
Nice little bouncer right there. Not much the goalie can do about that.
3-2, Leominster grabs the lead on the man-up opportunity. 8:22 to play here in the second quarter, and we're back to even strength.
And I think that's what Leominster's got to do, is just be more aggressive with the shot and don't look for that perfect setup. Leominster grabs the lead here.
Indeed they do.
Second quarter.
1 of 3 now on man-up opportunities are the Blue Devils, and they needed that one. They needed to get something going on offense.
And we noted it off the start of the broadcast. Leominster was slow to start in their first game against Neshoba. Went down 6-1 in the first quarter. Came back, won 9-8 in overtime to get their first victory. I don't know if Coach Colin Davis's heart can handle that being a day-to-day thing. He'd like to see his team be a little faster on the start. 3-2 right now. Huge physicality as the body given up there. IAC rolled through and kept on his feet, able to get the ball back. What effort.
A lot of aggressiveness right there. Just worked right through all those sticks.
Earnestly, that's one of the draws for a lot of these student athletes. They get to come out here, like you said, limited equipment, and they just get to go to town.
No question about it. Flag out once again on the play. To the net. Taylor rung the post. And now a whistle.
Blue 11 slash.
I think the ball was in the net there. Was that a goal?
Blue 11 called for the slash. That's Aiden Leduc, the long stick midi with the hack.
It's a 1 minute.
1 minute penalty. Leominster man up once again. 7:32 to play here in the second quarter. Already with the 3-2 lead and looking to strike again.
Leominster 1 of 3 today on man-up opportunities. And this is where Littleton thus far has started to let Leominster back into this game. Littleton's not been able to get any offensive momentum going here in the second quarter. They've given up 2 goals to Leominster, and they haven't had any goals have Littleton in the second quarter. And right now, every single time there's a flag, they're giving Leominster that offensive production and that opportunity that they otherwise would have not gotten.
Halstead rolls and rings the cage again.
Off the post.
And now the battle for the backup. Leominster will get to the end. No, rolled out of play. It was misplayed. Coach Davis is screaming that was off the shot. See if the official on the near sideline gets involved. He walks out to the middle of the field. The officials are going to confer on this one, but that was a deflection off a shot.
That was the rebound, I think, off of the post that led to it going out of bounds.
Indeed.
See what they confer on and what they got come up with. Yeah, see, that's what he's pointing at, post.
Yeah, saying it got deflected over to the side. Yep. See if they come out with an overrule here. And Leominster, they certainly had the backup. 6:53 to play here in the second quarter. A 3-2 lead. No signal coming out of that meeting of the minds. And they blow the play to continue. So no overrule. Now there's a flag out on the play. And the ball will roll out of play.
I wonder if something was said over there.
Another slash.
Gio Armand called this time.
That was
On Leominster, though,
Yes.
this time.
So both teams go man down.
I almost wonder if he didn't want him off the field there.
Yeah, and Coach
The
Davis is
official,
going to
he
have
might
a
have said something to
conversation
the
about that.
official about the call, and then he got a little careless with a stick.
6:46 to play here in the second quarter. Teams playing 1 man down each.
All right, so I can't figure out who has the ball.
I was going to say right well where
Over there on the sideline?
I was going to say see where
Is
the
that where
restart is.
we're
Yes,
at?
it is.
Right
The
there.
restart's
There
all
we
the way
are.
over there.
I'm like, who's got the ball?
Far 45 here on the football field turf. And that is Dylan Lochen.
Get in.
Now for Johnson. They'll swing it around for the other Lochen. This is Ryan Lochen.
Littleton now.
Hits
man
Dylan
up.
Lochen. The shot wide of the cage. Backup opportunity. Everybody reaching to stick out. I didn't see an enthusiastic ruling, but Leominster is going to win the backup.
I did move it.
I believe you.
Apparently somebody else came to stand next to it.
Taylor got cross-checked off the play. Now the roll. This is Calais. Calais bothered from behind, coughs it up. Whistles, a lot of contact in that exchange.
So there's a timeout.
So there was a timeout called before the loss of possession. Littleton complaining about it. The officials say they're using these finger whistles, and he couldn't get his finger on the button in time. COVID claims another problem. 6:08 to play in the second quarter.
Are they ever going to get their whistles back? Or are they worried about blowing into them?
I think eventually it will all return to normal, I would say, but we're not there yet, to say the least. Official showing off his little neon red finger whistle there. You can see him kind of hanging there.
See if we can't get a look at it so everybody knows what we're talking about here.
Yeah, we haven't completely lost our mind.
It's hanging down off of his right hand there. You can kind of see it.
Yeah, up against the jersey. There it is.
That's what that is, that red and black item.
Kind of like something you might see use at, perhaps a public park or something like that. Something of that general nature.
Interesting new innovation that the officials have gone to. We saw that starting with soccer season in the fall and carry through basketball.
There are a lot more people here than
volleyball,
you
that's
think.
right.
The crowd has wandered in here to historic Doyle Field.
You don't really feel the crowd in here because they're not right in front of us, but there is
there
wide
are a
expanse.
lot of people here.
I saw that during the girls' varsity game too.
Well,
People
the other thing
maintaining
is
their
that
social distance.
Yeah, they're maintaining social distance, and because of COVID, everybody's a lot more demure right now.
We're even right now. 6:08 to play here in the second quarter.
Oh. Okay. I thought Leominster still had 3 in there.
He might.
So that's why I had it up.
It's bothering me. I'm not going to lie.
You want me to keep it down?
Yes.
Okay.
Flags for flags. We're going to get you a man-up graphic, I promise. You're going to be doing a lot of clicking over here. Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robinson, happy to have you along with us. Middle game of a triple header here at historic Doyle Field. You could see off in the distance the upper baseball stadium standing by. We could see the broadcast position from here as we're set for the nightcap of the triple header. It's Neshoba and Leominster baseball from the upper field.
It's going to be winter conditions.
It's going to say it's going to be frosty night here at historic Doyle Field up under the lights on the baseball side, but we're looking forward to that one coming up later on to close things out as well. Separate stream right here, facebook.com/media rivalry. Third stream of the day coming up.
I should go get another space heater.
I don't think he's going to do you any good over there, Kate.
You know, rain on my parade, Bill Thomas.
Taylor on the restart, and here we go.
We need that mobile broadcast
rain
studio.
On my
Indeed.
parade.
Leominster flashed into the restraining area, then steps right back out. Taylor goes down the left wing. Played off the body. Nice play
fun.
there. That was a sharp little maneuver.
Leominster still man down right now. And now even strength.
Yeah, now we're back to even strength. Broussard rushes on. Heading over to the bench was Armand, who was held for his penalty. It was a few second differential, and they're 1 minute between the two. Taylor hits a flashing Broussard, who gets taken out of the play. The officials say play on, and now there's a whistle. Players are still going. They haven't heard the finger whistle yet.
Hold.
And they say it's a hold against Littleton. It will be no penalty, but it will be Leominster ball in the infraction. 5:23 to play here in the second quarter. It is one of the things I do appreciate about lacrosse. The officials do tell you exactly what's going on. Lyons feeds Broussard, and Leominster will play catch. Still, Kate feels, Billy and I were talking about this a little while ago, just feels a little too choosy. Up 3-2, maybe you can be. About 5 minutes left here in the second quarter, but maybe the need as Taylor rolls off, he'll wrap the ball behind the cage.
Being a little bit more surgical than aggressive at the moment when they're on the attack. But I mean, again, Coach Davis knows the type of a team that he's going up against in Littleton, and so you want to make sure that you utilize your offensive opportunities efficiently, because if you cough up the ball by being overly aggressive, you could then lose points in transition if Littleton's able to beat you in transition on the offensive end. So I don't necessarily mind it, considering Coach Davis knows how talented Littleton is.
Flash shot was wide of the cage, backed up by Daniels at X.
That, and I just like to be contrary to anything you have to say.
I appreciate
so,
that.
So, you know.
Here's Broussard to the cage. Shot never quite got off, much like a firework that got lit and never exploded. This one will fly down in transition. This is Kelleher. Kelleher looks for the flash. Witherell, center of the field. It's a giveaway. Spilios tried to sweep in, couldn't. Ryan Lochen will scoop it up for the Tigers.
Spilios there almost seemed like he wasn't sure if he should go after that.
Yeah, if he was going to be coming across the body or something of that nature.
And then the Littleton player was able to come in and scoop it right out from under him.
Right into the action. Here comes Dylan Lochen. Lochen avoids the attack of Spilios on the defensive end with the long stick and will now step it back outside the restraining area. 3:30 to play here in the second quarter. Here comes Lochen on the attack, uses his body to protect from that long stick, just hacking away, splits the defenders. Still loose, trying to keep his cradle alive as well. That is absolutely required in lacrosse. You've got to keep that cradle going. Spilios with the strip, ground ball, scooped up by the Tigers. Caught in there, Vitone. Stick goes flying through the air.
I love that there's no call, no whistle. I love that.
Play on.
Wow. Get her done.
Swept out loose. This is Ayesi, will come up with it and shovels it along and will now make the play up to himself. Ayesi, full head of steam, front of the cage, shot, score! Flag is out at the end of the play. There's another flag out at the end of the play.
They're everywhere.
But the goal is good. Leominster is up 4-2.
How many flags the officials carrying?
Who was on the score for there? Was that 24?
And unfortunately, a number that we don't have. We've got 24, but we don't have a name that goes with it.
Oh.
Ryan Ayesi was on the assist, I can tell you that much.
Okay.
See what the officials have to say about the two flags. They allowed the goal to stand, so I have to assume they are going to be charged against Littleton. This official, a little more soft-spoken. Let's see if we can hear him over here on the near side.
All right, we got a slash.
So it's 3 blue, Connor McNeil, 2 minutes for a slash. And then there was another 1-minute penalty for what sounds like an elbow. Was it 18?
I think it was 18 blue.
18, Cole Perry, the freshman,
I believe so.
gets called for the elbow.
Yeah. Was that a 1 minute?
And that was a 1 minute.
Okay.
So 2 down for the Tigers right now.
So that's the 6th flag against Littleton in the second quarter.
And Leominster will get the ball back. There will be no face-off.
So they get the score. They get a two-man advantage. And they get possession.
Yes, that is correct on all accounts.
All right.
And now Coach Mike Blanchard would like to know how he ended up on the wrong side of a goal and 2 penalties.
So the goal does not nullify that minor penalty,
you would think,
so
as it would in hockey, you would think, yes. And as you say, perhaps they're indicating we're after the play. At least one was definitely after the play.
Could have been the timing.
Now, the interesting thing here, 6 flags against Littleton in the second quarter. Leominster has been able to blank Littleton in the second quarter. Littleton has not scored a goal in the second quarter. Leominster has scored 3 of their 4 goals in the second quarter. So this has been a tremendous change in fortunes. 6 flags against Littleton in this quarter alone, putting Leominster in multiple man-up situations, and that score just flip-flops in Leominster's favor.
And now Leominster has possession. Go ahead, Bill
Mike
Thomas.
pointed something out to me, the timekeeper at the bell over here, that if a player accumulates 5 minutes of penalties, he's disqualified. I think we got to check that.
We have
but that's 4 minutes, I think, on number 3.
Number 3 has 3 minutes.
I thought he had a 2-minute earlier.
He had a 2-minute now, and he had a 1 minute earlier. Oh wait, no, he had 2 previous ones. Oh no, yeah, he had
a 2-minute for the stick.
2-minute for the stick.
And now 2-minute now.
Yeah.
So he's got 4 minutes already piled up.
Yeah.
Interesting. So
unconfirmed.
Two down are the Tigers. Leominster playing 2 men up. Loose ball. This is Halstead, able to corral.
This has been an absolutely instrumental quarter for Leominster to get back in this game. The number of flags against Littleton, the number of man-up opportunities that Leominster has had, their ability to score in man-up situations and play clean has just flip-flopped everything. Momentum, scoring efficiency, the whole 9 yards, the score itself.
Indeed. This is Taylor for Broussard. Runs into contact. Long stick was able to chip it out on that one. It was Deshays. And in transition, here come the Tigers. Kelleher picks up the ground ball, skids to a stop, and then he is able to transition his play to the near side under 2 minutes before halftime. Leominster with the 4-2 lead. First penalty has released. So Leominster now just up by 1. And Leominster's coaching staff was all over something in transition. A player was offside coming out of it, as was pointed out. So that was almost immediate.
See, they do have offsides
in the process.
You're going to have to explain that one to me.
I was going to say, somebody's going to have to get that one out for me, too, because I know in the women's game you rarely, if ever, see it.
Only have 6 players on one side of the field.
So that's the long story
Nice
short.
job.
Yeah, absolutely.
That
Great
was a great
explanation.
job.
That was excellent down there.
Fantastic.
Thank you,
Appreciate that.
coach from Littleton down there. Thank you very much.
He's a player.
Yeah, I was
A
going to
player
say.
coach.
Halstead hits the flasher, shot, and a score. Second goal of the day for 24, who
Guess
I
we gotta get a
apologize to his
name now,
parents. We don't have his name. Clearly, it's a jersey change, but we don't have it.
I'm on it.
Kate is all over it. Our intrepid and roving reporter is going to go and attempt to find a name that goes with that. Yes. Never easy on opening day to get all those names collected up, but when you put 2 scores on the board back-to-back, Bill Thomas, I think we need to go get the name now. We don't have time to wait.
Got to give him credit. It's usually my job, but I'm multitasking.
I was going to say, already, Bill Thomas
Take
doing a
care
lot
of
of
it,
multitasking roles here. Back to the face-off X we go. 1:10 to play here in the second quarter. Official just said down on the field, we're all even. So everybody is even on all sides. Leominster was able to go up with 2 goals in that man-up opportunity ×2. And now back to the face-off X we go. And Littleton somehow on the back of that stick, Bill Thomas, it's stuck.
I went looking for the ball downfield, and it's
Ultimately, it was a
never
procedure penalty as Littleton crossed into the center circle. So Leominster gets the ball in transition. Ball bounces loose. Over the near side, long stick, hacks away, swings that one head high, Bill Thomas.
I mean, you can hear him.
The ball loose
Dangerous.
once again, bodies rolling everywhere. And now a whistle.
Finally.
They say it was a push.
Enough of that.
White ball. Leominster will retain possession on the restart. 43 seconds left here in this second quarter. Here comes the shot from Halstead. It never fired as he got slashed from behind. The loose ball rolls to the far side. Armand will back it up. And Leominster will have the ball on the restart. 31 seconds left here before we reach the halftime break. This is Halstead. Halstead hits Taylor. Taylor dances in and out. Trying to break loose. Snaps to the near side, looks for a pass. That's going to be a giveaway. Ball will go back to the Tigers 14 seconds before halftime. Tigers will race a couple players on. Murphy, the keeper, has it at the start. Avoided in transition. It was Kelleher avoided the hit. Racing down 3 seconds before halftime. Will he get a shot off? He will not. Halftime at historic Doyle Field. End-to-end action, but Leominster on the back of multiple Tiger penalties, able to inflate their lead in the second quarter, 5-2 at halftime. And we can add Leominster's last 2 goals, thanks to our intrepid reporter, Kate Robbins, all over that. Sam Babbo with the scores, Kate, back-to-back.
I think. I was listening to somebody threw a mask in a cage. So Lord knows what that was.
We'll have it straightened out.
That's as close as I got.
We're back with the boys lacrosse action next Thursday night here on Rivalry Family Media, coming up this very Thursday.
I had so many flags, I need to go to a separate page here for the second half.
Leominster and Marlborough, the action, 5:30 is face-off here at Doyle Field. We'll have it for you right here on Rivalry Family Media next Thursday night. Looking forward to that one. Bill Thomas, second boys game you've seen. What do you got?
Well, I'm liking the action. Definitely excitement level, I guess, is the word I want. No, there's got to be a better word, but there's definitely a lot more going on in the boys' game. A lot more stick-to-stick action. We can hear it up here. The sticks rattling together, but you know, it's just a faster game. We come to expect that from when we're talking boys versus girls.
I had a quick question for you, Todd, and I'm putting you on the spot here, so I know
we'll see how I do. No worries.
With regard to Coach Colin Davis, he has been the head coach since the program's inception, just after we left high school.
Yeah,
correct?
that's correct. So talking about 2004-05, somewhere in that general neighborhood for this program.
And one of the interesting points about this particular, situation is that I remember when we were leaving high school in the, 2000-aught, a while ago at this point, you have a situation where lacrosse
Class of 03,
was
20th reunion coming up.
Correct. Lacrosse was not something where you heard anything about it on the youth level, and so in high school it was kind of this, it was almost this exotic sport that you didn't really know much about. I mean, obviously at the NCAA level, I know that your alma mater, Syracuse, obviously.
That's where I learned
school,
about it, though.
correct.
I mean, I had never seen a lacrosse game, boys or girls, and obviously in Leominster or anywhere in Massachusetts, maybe other than at the prep level when we were growing up. And then obviously I went to Syracuse and had to learn the sports on the fly.
Here in Central Mass, again, when we were graduating high school, it was kind of this very mysterious, out there, exotic sport. One of the interesting things, and Coach Davis, to his credit, and I'm sure the other programs around Central Mass, because of the connectedness to ice hockey, he did a lot of recruiting from the boys ice hockey program, and this sport sells itself.
Oh, without a doubt.
Once you get this program into a school, you don't need to sell it beyond that. The word of mouth alone, especially on the boys' side of the sport, absolutely amazing, selling itself.
Journeys don't stop believing playing here inside of historic Doyle Field, and I'm watching Mason Broussard, who's taking instruction right now, down on the field, literally shimmy to the music. I mean, it's this fun combination in this sport, Kate. You had told me when we were going into covering volleyball that it was going to be there was a little bit of a volleyball vibe.
There's a
lacrosse vibe. There's no question about it. It is a physical sport. They play for keeps.
The physicality, I think that's the word I was looking for.
Yes.
The physicality of the game between the girls' version and the boys' version is much different. But I think the equipment lends itself to the increased physicality that we see on the boys' side.
And that's been the great debate about the girls.
It's
Should they wear the helmets?
Armor,
yes.
The helmets, the arm, forearm pads, and the extended stick. You're seeing just a lot more of everything.
But interestingly enough, much like women's ice hockey that doesn't allow checking, I don't necessarily, I would love, give me a helmet and let me go hack away at something. But you have this situation where in the women's game, that's not necessarily how women's
it's a little
athletics,
more finesse, I think.
Right?
Yes.
And when you see it, even if you have a full contact sport like a basketball situation, the women's game is a lot more about finesse. So I think even if you gave them a cage and you gave them the opportunity to hack away, I think you would still see a little bit more finesse than we do in the men's game.
There'd be that politeness.
There would be
to the
some
game.
of it, yeah.
And you don't see that on the boys' side.
Right. But I mean, we did have a broken wrist in the girls' game. Somebody got slashed. There was no call.
And let me note, by the way.
And I wonder if that was 18 that didn't play the second half.
It was. I talked to her.
Because she had, and it looked like she had something on her arm. I would have liked to
I spoke to her on her way out. She was on her way to urgent care.
I hate to disagree with my two esteemed colleagues, but I will say at the collegiate level, sans the helmets, the women's game, much more action with the sticks. The game we saw this morning, fantastic game. Both teams were very polite.
Very polite.
Because quite often.
Well, you saw a lot of it out of Crory, though. Crory had enough.
Well, and it's a big difference, right?
Enough.
Whether it's the long stick here you see in the men's game or the shorter sticks, either way, they will use the full extent of whatever they have to reach out and jab at you. The women's game, you're not going to get away with that. You're going to get flagged for that. So in the women's game, it's much more like a tap, 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 tap. So they keep the stick in close with the two hands and they just tap at people. Tap, 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 all the way down the field. I called it the Lizzie Borden defense because it's just hack, 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 all the way down the field. And that's kind of the difference that you might see. Meanwhile, in the men's game, you're going to see they're going to use the extent of the stick, and they're going to swing with everything they've got within reason.
It's the wood chopper defense.
Exactly. It's much more the wood chopper. They're bringing the axe.
A little tap.
That's right.
I don't know that Lizzie Borden was just tapping.
I don't either. Well, I mean, would you prefer like the woodpecker defense? I mean, what would you prefer? Like, it's more like all the way down the
Lizzie
field.
Borden was playing for keeps.
It was a signature call of mine. I don't know if it's polite, but it was a signature call of mine. I love
certainly descriptive.
The Lizzie Borden defense. 3:50 to play in this halftime. Heading toward our third quarter.
3:50 to play at halftime. You're having a little too much fun.
Oh, no doubt. But middle game of our triple header here on the opening weekend of the spring season here on Rivalry Family Media. And great to have you a part of our family.
Now, the other cool thing is that we also, because we have the nightcap, our third game in the triple header, baseball team starting to arrive quite early, mind you, for their 6:30 start. But they are up on top of the stadium now watching here, because I'm certain that they have a 4 o'clock arrival, 90 minutes before your game for a bat ball sport, so that you can do warm-ups and you can get some time in the cage.
The batting cage is out, so it'll be starting up as well.
Bill is already over there. I see the equipment in the dugout. They're ready to play.
Billy
I didn't have my headset on.
I
was just talking to you. That's all. I'm conversational. But I see the number of Leominster players over there around their dugout already, and they're ready to play. They want to play. They'd play 9 probably if you could. I think we're only playing 7 tonight.
I believe that's correct.
So we're expecting a good game over there tonight, just to continue the third game of our triple header.
Yep, no doubt about it. And RFM first, triple header of action, all in the same day and all for you.
And if you thought
out there across the community,
if you thought Todd couldn't stop talking, we're going to put it to the test. I can guarantee you.
I'm talking without my headset on, so
having lived with him now for over a decade, he'll be just fine.
We'll be no issues, no concern whatsoever.
Todd can
going into the triple header tonight.
We gave you a job in education just so that you could work out that voice for situations like today.
Absolutely.
It's training.
I mean, lecturing is a specialty. I can put you under without any issue whatsoever. But that
doesn't sound like it's student centered to me.
No, absolutely it is.
I'm dinging you on your evaluation.
Fully hands on. Don't you worry. Coming up later on, as we said, baseball, Leominster, Neshoba. We've got that one for you. 6:30, the first pitch right here on Rivalry Family Media. Things will be a little bit different, as I'm calling it. It's a radio broadcast with pictures. Think of it like the early days of the radio to television transition. There'll be pictures, but we've got a couple of static camera angles. A little more complicated than perhaps we're getting there. We're getting the personnel and the equipment in place. So be patient with us on that, but we promise the play-by-play call will be nothing short of entertaining.
It'll be a first. We'll see how. Hopefully, it won't be the last.
It'll be something. One of the things I do want to talk about, I know I may be belaboring the point, but I don't care because I have a microphone on. That second quarter for Leominster, so instrumental in changing the tenor of this game. They were down 2 goals to.
They were down 2-1, I think, after
2
one,
goals
right?
to 1 after the first quarter. Six flags against Littleton in the second quarter alone.
Starting with the illegal stick. I mean, can you imagine? After the illegal stick after a goal during a timeout, everything went pitching off the hill from there.
Correct. So that's where things end up happening, and you go 4 unanswered goals by Leominster in the second quarter with 10:06, 8:22, 2:51, and 1:10 remaining in the quarter. They are able to just shift that momentum. Now that we've had a break in the action for the entirety of this halftime, you have a prolific coaching staff on Littleton's side of the ball. What type of in-game adjustments are they going to be able to make? Because I don't necessarily know that Leominster becomes the beneficiary of having 2 more quarters like they just saw. So Colin Davis is going to have to get them prepared, because they know Littleton is going to be coming out of the gates hot, heavy, and ready to go for a second half, because they're well coached. And that 6 flags, I don't think you're going to see that again.
And they pretty much spent the entirety of that halftime break in a huddle over here talking.
And that was the concern that Coach Mike Blanchard had. He knew Leominster could score in a flurry. And, of course, of the many things he didn't want to see happen other than not scoring in the flurry, he did not want to see Leominster end up with all those man-up opportunities they could take advantage of. And they certainly made the Tigers pay in that second quarter. So the teams will change ends here for quarter number 3. Tigers defending the goal goal to our left once again. Leominster defending the goal to our right. So Leominster will go right to left on offense. Tigers left to right here in the third 12 minutes. Tigers chasing 3 as we get set to start, and everything's going to begin right there at the midfield X. Can they control the faceoffs and gain and maintain the possessions? That will be some of the questions that will need to be answered here in this third quarter for the Tigers. The officials set the faceoff draw down, and away we go. Swept away. Babineau will come up with it. Loose ball still bouncing. Ground ball kicked forward with the long stick. Scooped up there in transition. That's Leduc. And Leduc goes low sidewinder with the long stick. Misses everything but won the backup attempt, did the Tigers. Nice race to the finish there with Spilios racing with Johnson. Johnson got the better of it to the sideline.
And I think one of the marked areas of Littleton's game that is superior to Leominster's in a lot of ways is that movement in transition. They are dangerous. Every single time that they've had the ability to have an open field around midfield, they have just opened things up and streaked down the field, and Leominster's not been able to keep up in transition against Littleton.
And here comes Kelleher. Kelleher working on IAC. He'll roll, split the defense, bounce it back to X. Ball still loose. And Kelleher got it back. After all of that, Kelleher picks up his own ground ball. Races around the back of the net. Finds Lochen. Lochen snaps a shot. It got past the keeper, in this sense, Smith. But ultimately, the Tigers missed the mark. They still have possession.
Leominster's defense doing a nice job here, but not able to clear it on that last opportunity. And Littleton coming back on the attack for yet another attempt.
Down goes the Tiger. The ball pops loose. Leominster not responsible, and here comes Babbo in transition.
He's fun.
Indeed. He rumbles down the right side of the field. He's got 2 goals already. He'll drop this one off to Taylor, and Taylor will peel off the mark.
Babbo's been sneaky. People lose him because obviously he's not the fastest one out there on the field. And if you lose him, your mark loses him for just a second. All of a sudden, he's directly next to that goal, and he's doing a nice job with the give and go. And he's able to get that almost like an alley-oop, and he's able to get it right into the net. He's doing a nice job out there.
Halstead finds Broussard. And Broussard will now carry the ball. He's going to take it the long way around, going all the way around the back of the cage. Under 10 minutes here in the third quarter. Now steps on the gas. Comes to the near side. Finds Armand. Armand will drop it off for Green. Green cradles and sends it over to Halstead. Halstead takes a slash across the chest from the long stick in Leduc. Looking for the crossing pass in front. And Murphy will win the backup racing from his goal mouth in order to get the ball back for the Tigers. Nice play. Here come the Tigers in transition with the giveaway.
Nice.
Spilios with the long stick picks up the loose ball.
That looked like an infielder on a one-hop. Nicely done there. Those ground balls off the artificial turf are not easy to judge. You would think because the hops are consistent, that's one thing. But you're dealing with an artificial surface relative than a natural one, and you have that, you know, that rubberized lacrosse ball. It gets a little bit tricky, so a nice job with the hand-eye coordination on the ground ball there.
Babbo goes behind the cage. Armand reverses direction. Now sweeps back once again. Armand races to the post. Flag is out on the play. Leominster on the delayed whistle here. Opportunity to score, and they're going to get the man-up opportunity potentially as well. Race to the cage. Shot from Broussard. Snared out of the air by Murphy. Here comes the official over here to the near side.
One minute for a slash against Littleton.
Alexander Di Lorenzo picks up his second penalty of the day. 8:42 to play here in the third quarter. Leominster with the man-up opportunity for the next minute.
I'm getting good at hearing him.
I'm impressed. I'm trying to lip read through a mask. You can imagine that's not going well.
It's not your talent.
No, indeed. Here comes Taylor on the restart.
Usually, now, mind you, Billy Todd is wondering how is she able to hear him. She hears nothing. So I'm like a savant all of a sudden.
Gets checked off the play hard. Loose ball bounces to Broussard.
I'm not wrong, Todd.
Broussard, Halstead, back on his feet, bounce shot, score!
That was a nice give and go right there. Pretty. Set play. Look for that breaking man. Hit him and he shoots on stride.
8:25 to play in the third quarter, and the Blue Devils lead is 4, 6-2 Leominster.
Taking advantage of that man up, too. Good job by Leominster right there on the offensive end.
And my count, Kate, I believe that is their third man-up goal now.
That
Had
is
2 in the
third.
second quarter. Now this one here in the third.
Yep.
5 unanswered goals by the Blue Devils
5.
over the last 2 quarters.
5.
After going down 2-0, then battling back to 2-1, and then that stick. The stick check with the illegal pocket, a 2-minute penalty, and it has been downhill from there for the Tigers. Things hit quicksand from there.
Which seems interesting because they were very nonchalant about it. Like it wasn't a major thing. But then, like you said, all of a sudden they've not had an answer. A quick whistle here once again.
You know, and you point out that's 6 unanswered goals because you're right. They were down 2-0. 6 unanswered goals by the Blue Devils since early in the first quarter.
Having a little bit of technical difficulty, I think,
Yeah,
Todd.
we apologize to those of you joining us on the live stream.
Right now, Littleton on the attack.
It's going to be a turnover unforced, I believe.
That's correct.
Blue Devils going to come away with the ball.
I believe we've been able to restore that live stream.
Oh, here, a pass right there.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that was a little...
Bear with us if you're experiencing some technical difficulties at home. We apologize. Action continues here at historic Doyle Field.
Quite the scrum going over
Indeed, over on that far side, and it looks like the Tigers are going to get the benefit of it. 7:35 to play here in the third quarter. This is Lochen. Swings it around, finds DeCoste. Bouncing ball will pop its way out. Now here's the ride. DeCoste taking the slash all the way around, followed closely by Vitone. Finds its way to Lochen. And the Tigers have slowed the pace. Leominster trying to crowd that front of the net. Flash there, leaping out of his cleats was DeCoste. He couldn't find the connection. The giveaway from the Tigers, and the ball will go back to Leominster on the restart.
Couldn't quite reach that high pass. Trying to catch and shoot all at once.
Leominster now with possession once again. And I think when you're talking about the cadence of Littleton, I think that they know that every scoring opportunity right now is important because they're finding themselves kind of getting farther and farther away in the score. They're needing to make every opportunity count.
Hit to the head called there against Leominster on the ground ball, and so the infraction will send the ball back to the Tigers, and Murphy will handle the restart out of his own goal mouth. Sends it back upfield and finds a connection there. That's Witherill.
Have you found that the intensity has kind of dropped within the last few minutes?
Yeah, a little bit here.
Kind of like at a very strange place right now. Leominster can tend to play defense. They have the four goal advantage. And right now, again, Littleton on the attack. Leominster's defense really spreading things out. And Littleton really looking to try to make something happen here as they're going around the periphery and back to X.
Got a little information rolled over here. They actually said that was a violation on the advancing. They weren't able to advance it within the time.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
We need to brush up on a couple
Well,
things.
there's a few things. Of course, the shot clock in the college game is obvious. It is available. In the high school game, obviously not as much. No stadiums have a visible shot clock, so you're not able to tell.
You're just
guessing.
guessing.
There is a point where you have to advance it into the restraining area. That's that kind of dark box you can kind of see. It's a blackish, bluish color, runs from about the 30-yard line back to the football goal line if you're looking out on the field.
Somebody's upset about something.
As the Tigers trying to keep the ride going here. Under just about 5 minutes here left here in quarter number 3, and a 4-goal lead. Tigers looking to overcome.
Action's really slowed down here, though. You're right, Todd and Kate.
Indeed it has.
Littleton has become very deliberate here, and I think they just feel like they need to get this next goal no matter what the cost. Even
I
if
agree.
It's at the cost of time on the clock right
Well, I mean,
now.
again, and think about it. They have not scored since there were 7 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the first quarter. So things have just dried up for them.
And in lacrosse,
that's no bueno.
That's odd.
That's
no bueno, no doubt.
Bueno.
But that is odd, to say the least. Rode off the play hard into the near side was Kittredge. Loose ball, though, stays with the Blue Devils. Ground ball once again, who will get the better of it. Leominster's Taylor rolls back out with it.
And again, Leominster, the clock is their friend. I mean, even though we're only in the third quarter, they have a 4-goal advantage, and Littleton's offensive production has absolutely dried up. So Leominster, on both ends of the ball, they have the ability to just kind of let things develop. If Littleton wants to, bring things to a screeching halt, they can.
Broussard snaps off a shot that's snared out of the air by Murphy. Murphy could see it all the way. And now this is where you dig into the hockey a little bit here. Obviously, you want to try to screen the front of that net as much as you can. Send somebody by it. If the keeper gets an opportunity, gets a good look at the angle, Bill Thomas, it can make all the difference in the world being able to stop it.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's all about opportunities.
And a timeout spent by Littleton. 3:29 to play here in the third. 6-2. Leominster's lead right now. Middle game of our triple header on opening spring Saturday here on Rivalry Family Media. We appreciate your hanging with us through the technical difficulties. For those of you joining us live, hopefully you were able to restart your stream and continue with the action. Really?
No, it never cut out.
All right, well, that's fantastic.
I don't know what happened, but it didn't cut out.
Nonetheless, if you're joining us on demand on YouTube, that's the place to find all of this action available to you. So many ways to play, so to speak. Live action right here, facebook.com/Media Rivalry for RFM's live coverage of various events. Then the game's available on demand, same day upload. tinyurl.com/Media Rivalry will take you right to that YouTube page, or it's youtube.com. Search Rivalry Family Media.
Do you know how late we're going to be up if we're going to be putting all three
same day upload is going to happen. Updates available at Media Rivalry on Twitter. Give us a follow. Like, follow, subscribe today. We go live. You get it direct to your device.
Well, Bill Thomas, Todd's going to be up till 2 in the morning. I can tell you that much right now. You know who's not going to be up at 2 in the morning? This kid's not going to be up at 2 in the morning.
6-2, Leominster's lead. Girls lacrosse action earlier today. You can go back, check that one out right now here on Facebook. Scroll down one game back. You will find Leominster and Littleton on the girls' side of things. That was a nice 15-7 win for the Blue Devils, correct?
That sounds about right to me.
I
Yeah,
that
15-7.
Yep.
Did you see the uniform tops on the baseball team?
Yeah, Leominster baseball wearing black this year. Black
That's
with royal
exciting.
blue. It's a good look.
I love the alternate.
Yes, I love a good alternate look.
And I'm always black head to toe, so I love that.
With just a splash of royal blue to go with it as well.
It's like my soul. It's the color of my soul.
Coach Barnaby and squad now heading back for their warm-ups to begin, but we'll have that action for you. 6:30, facebook.com/Media Rivalry for Leominster and Neshoba Baseball. 2 storied baseball programs. We're looking forward to bringing that one to you.
I will say it was jarring today to get down here at Doyle Field with about an hour, just an hour plus before game time. Remember, I come from the bat ball tradition of, yes, an hour and a half to 2 hours before your game. You're in uniform and in the cages getting ready. I couldn't comprehend, it's an hour before game time. Where is everybody? I kind of panicked, I'm not going to lie to you. Because what you're seeing up top, be there 2 hours before the game, that's what I was used to. Like you said, everything about these sports is fast down here.
Indeed. Meanwhile, we have on the overflight, we have an avian battle going on between a couple of birds here in the action as well. This is going at one another as we continue back to action. Shot ripped wide of the net there by Lafferty. Backed up nicely and kept alive was Ryan Johnson, the freshman back there at X.
Got some some clean jerseys in the game as well for Leominster.
Sun trying to poke its way out here at Doyle Field. The thick cloud deck above. Lefty shot ripped wide there from Witherell. Backed up successfully once again by the Tigers. 2.5 left here in the third quarter. On the restart, it's the sophomore Noise.
I don't think I'm used to holding my head up this long with the headset. I'm struggling.
Kelleher rolling, throws on the brakes. He skids. Lefty shot, found a hole, found the back of the cage.
That's the first goal for Littleton since the first quarter. 7 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the first quarter. That's the last time Littleton has seen the back of the cage. So a scoring drought here in this game, finally, for the Tigers. You can hear it in the fans in the stadium.
And Bill Thomas, you had a good look at that one. Witherell fit that through about an index card's worth of space to get it by in Devin Smith's cage.
But what he made the decision was to attack.
Yes.
Not to pass the perimeter and look for an opening. He just drove to the net, found an opening.
Have shot, take
Looked
shot.
like a low 5-hole.
Cuts Leominster's lead in
back of the
half. 6-3 Blue Devils with the lead. 2:08 to play in the third quarter. Typically, you'd look at a sporting event and go, ooh, that's awfully lopsided. 4-goal leads in lacrosse, ha, that's basically a 1-all game.
Exactly right.
Ball slashed away. Leominster was on the attack, lost it. Now a ground ball. Everybody's playing the body. Somebody trying to sweep loose the ball and is ultimately scooped up there by Armand. 1:45 to play here in the third quarter.
Interesting. I've been seeing a lot of shift changes right off of faceoffs. There must be a lot of faceoff specialists that
yes,
so go in and then right back out.
That is usually at least one, maybe two players on each side specialize in the faceoffs, and then they will race over to the sideline, and coaches can choose, you know, under different circumstances. Some have different strategies. I noticed one Leominster player does not go down. You know, usually at least one knee goes to the ground and you dig your way out. There's a Leominster player that actually squats and does not go all the way to the ground. As this one lost wide on the giveaway by Leominster, that's an unforced error. Ball back to the Tigers, and Murphy, the goaltender, will restart. Players racing sideline to sideline. Murphy bounces this one up through the middle of the field, and Leominster will pull it away. This is Taylor with the steal in transition. Taylor doesn't have the numbers and gets slashed from behind for his efforts.
It has been interesting to see in transition, much like you would see in ice hockey. If you mess up that shift change and you're going on offense, you don't have the numbers, you got to retreat.
Flashing shot and a score! Ryan Iacy shows himself and Babbo finds him. Iacy reverses the ball and bounces it by Murphy.
Nice job. I think that's at least three goals they've set up on that right side with that in pass to that cutter, about 10 feet out. And a nice quick shot right there.
44 seconds left of this third quarter, and Leominster opens it up to a 4-goal lead once again.
Didn't take them long to answer that Littleton goal, get back to that 4-goal lead.
And that's, if you're a member of the coaching staff, that is what you want to see from your student athletes. If you all of a sudden have a team that finds the ability to score after having a drought, it's about what your team is able to do in response. And when you're able to brush off a goal like that and come right back off with a score of your own, that is the sign of a well-oiled machine, in my opinion.
Yeah, how do you respond? They responded very, very well. Spilios with possession in the long stick, under 30 seconds left here in the third.
And especially knowing that this is a sophomore-laden team, that's a phenomenal attribute to have at that young an age.
Green, what a move there. Leaping through the air, catches the pass at midfield, pirouette at the 40-yard line of the football end, and then throws it away in transition, trying to find Taylor. 6 seconds left here in the third quarter.
Not much is going to be able to happen in 6 seconds.
I would agree with that. Perhaps Murphy try to get it to somebody who can race it downfield. Murphy will try to hit the long stick. Swipe it away. This one bounced and score!
I guess something could happen in 6 seconds.
Indeed. Nathan Taylor, play the whistle. He's able to pick it off in transition and snap it in the open net.
My word.
What a look. Goalie caught out of position, an errant pass.
Well, and that's the thing. You think nothing can happen with 6 seconds left. You're just kind of trying to get rid of it. wait until the next quarter, but you leave that goal wide open and you have a misstep. And he was
and there was really no reason to have to pass that ball up because they were not going to create offense.
The problem was that Murphy has been struggling with the passes from the goalie position, from that keeper position all game long. We saw it on his first pass in the first quarter was an errant pass out of bounds over the head of one of his defenders. He's not been able to pass the ball very well.
And that's the end of the third quarter. And notice the long stick there. Leduc was set in the face-off circle for the Tigers. Let's see what happens there. Nice sportsmanship, by the way, between Leduc and I believe it looked like there was a 23 there for Leominster, and we don't have a 23 here. We'll get it straightened out, but they were at the face-off X. They both just kind of let the ball go. Final second went off, and they gave each other the hand pound as they ended the third quarter. And
well, the lacrosse community is not a large community because it's still an emerging sport in Central Mass, so a lot of these players know each other from either ice hockey or from, you know, the youth lacrosse system, because again, it's a pretty tight-knit community in the area because there's not long histories or long storied traditions. So you've got a lot of the same athletes that are growing up together in the various programs. And so, like you said, I mean, that was one of the cool things, being able to, when you're growing up, even in high school, being able to see your other friends. I know that, Athletic Director Dave Palazzi's not going to like this when I say this. One of my favorite things was seeing my friends when we would go play Fitchburg, and I did my best not to say hello. I did my best not to be too chummy because, we've got that die-hard, bleeding red and bleeding blue. But it was always nice, in a small, close-knit community. We played summer ball with them. Same thing here in lacrosse. So regardless of the fact that, you're wearing different
lacrosse
things.
World.
I think the Leominster AD just called security.
I'm out. I'm going to be out of here. I'm going to be out of here in about 5 minutes. I knew he wouldn't like it if he heard me.
You got the look.
I
That's
did
for
get
sure.
the look.
What? You talk to kids.
You talk to Fitchburg kids? No, Bill Thomas, I've got a great story. I was when I was growing up for softball, I was one of 2 freshmen on the varsity softball team, and in my first game playing against Fitchburg, it was an away game, and I hit a ball. It was a line drive back to the pitcher, and it ricocheted off of her. And when I got to first base, I apologized. I said, I'm sorry.
Sorry for hitting the ball so hard.
We had fans that were there that were seniors in high school. They were boyfriends of some of the players, and they go, Meyer, you don't apologize to people from Fitchburg. And I was like, but I grew up, I want to be a sport, I want to be sporting about this. I'm 14-year-old freshman. I go, she's a senior, she's going to kill me.
You crossed the line.
She was not happy.
You crossed the line.
Was not happy with me.
All part of what makes a rivalry great.
The most interesting thing, Bill Thomas, that was the same game where I had the illustrious Kerry Conway was my shortstop. I played third base. To hear the things that she was saying to our pitcher in the middle of the Leominster Fitchburg game, you can't repeat. You just can't repeat it.
But that was that senior presence.
Oh, man, was it ever.
And right off of the face-off, Leominster will pull control, and here we go. IAC squirts loose off 2 defenders, races down the left side of the field, and we're back to action here at historic Doyle Field. Leominster with the 8-3 lead. Flashing, Broussard loses the ball. Still loose on the ground. Leominster trying to sweep it up, and whistle, and a hold called, and the ball will go back to Littleton. So Leominster grabbed on that one. And there has been a change in the cage for the Tigers. Junior Colin Murphy is out. Freshman Gage Carroll now playing goal for the Tigers. So between the freshman? Yes, between the giveaway and then the 8 goals allowed by Murphy, Coach Mike Blanchard had seen enough. He goes to his freshman goalie.
And if you don't think that that's a message for your junior keeper, then you don't know what you're talking about. That's a message.
Bounce shot goes over the bar in that circumstance for Kelleher. He got free, and his angle was off just so. And that's the difference, Bill Thomas, between getting it up under the bar and ending up over the back of the bar.
A little short on that bounce, and it took a high hop.
Just a minute gone by here in this fourth quarter. Leominster +5 down on the field. Action penalty-wise really was quiet in the third quarter.
Well, now you jinxed
so the Tigers were really able to settle things down, but they couldn't close the numbers gap.
They fixed the scoring drought by 1. But again, it's a
Kelleher, flash, turn on net, knocked down there by Smith. Smith tries to pin it up against his cage, and he does.
Get out of my circle, I think is what he said.
Dallaire gets taken off his feet. Ball bounces loose, and we got a whistle for a push. Leominster will keep it in transition.
Leominster making all the right decisions, and Littleton playing with a little bit of panic right now, I think.
Well, they need to make something happen, and they need to make it happen quickly.
Leominster dancing in and out of that restraining area. Now comes to the near side, it's Daniels. Daniels feeds Babbo.
Leominster content to take their time here.
No rush. Now 2 minutes gone by here in the 4th. Screen provided there by Green, and will bounce IAC loose. IAC goes bounce shot far too early in the middle of the field, and that one up, over, and long, but backed up by the Blue Devils on the shot. They'll have it on the restart. Armand pulls the trigger.
Having that bounce shot brings such another dimension to the game, and it's so much about not only, you know, that slingshot effect of having your cross, but also a lot of finesse. You need to understand the bounce. There's a lot of geometry involved.
Indeed there are. IAC will signal for Green to get himself loose.
Not my favorite class in high school.
Comes to the near side. Here we'll find Daniels, the junior. Babbo and Daniels playing catch. Back and forth. You can hear the Tiger fans trying to get Littleton back into this one. Ball bounces loose for IAC. IAC will race to the near side. Comes for Babbo.
Leominster can be content to play catch here as much as possible.
Armand, they take a 360 right around the back of the cage. Around the world it goes, and it finds its way back to the top of the theoretical key with Daniels. Comes to the near side, IAC, and under 9 minutes left here in the 4th quarter. Leominster content not to press the issue. 9 goals in their first game, an overtime win, 8 goals in this one. IAC with a head fake, tried to roll off, goes for Babbo. Now Babbo back with IAC, and they play catch.
Reset time.
Indeed, reset the play, try it all over again, kill a little more time.
Looking for that give and go.
IAC, roll dodge, goes to the left, shot. He had his pocket picked, and it will bop loose. In transition, nice job by DiLorenzo to step on the gas. It'll work its way upfield for Lochen.
And on the next transition, Leominster's going to be having some speed come into this game here in a minute.
DeCoste.
Got the
slashes to the cage, took the contact, flung it to the net. The backup attempt successfully made there by Johnson.
I love that the goalie tried to go after.
Well, that's one of my favorite. I think it's one of the best heads-up plays. You have a shot go by your cage, and you race for that back line.
Yep.
Try to get your stick closer.
You just pray that there's not somebody from the opposite team right there.
Thus can be the problem.
Yep.
Under 8 minutes now here in the 4th.
And that's the cool thing about this sport relative to the cage, because, again, it brings that 360-degree game. You have to be aware of all aspects.
Smith with the save. He doesn't know where the ball is, but he was able to knock down the lock-in shot. And there was a push signaled against Leominster. Tigers ball on the restart. Leominster and Littleton back and forth. We swing. Leominster with the 5-goal advantage. But both teams have had their opportunities to possess. The Tigers just have been dry.
Well, Leominster also took very, very keen advantage of all those flags in the 2nd quarter. That really was the game changer.
Low sidewinder knocked down by Smith in traffic.
That, and he has been a brick wall in cage.
Bounces loose for Coase, and DeCoste sends it wide on the giveaway, and the ball will go back to Leominster.
There, and pass right there. Creates a turnover.
Coach Colin Davis enthused with Leominster's defense on that exchange.
Nice to hear some positivity out of the benches. Nice to hear that.
Oh my. That one lost out of the cross there of Smith.
The goalie.
This end of the field, problematic for goaltenders. That one almost like it slipped out through the pocket of the cross.
I think what ended up happening is he went to go and send it to his teammate who was about 10 to 15 yards away, and you had a streaking Littleton player get into his line of vision, and I think he false started with the pass, and then it went behind him, and then he had to go and get it. I think that it was just one of those things where he had that streaking off, he thought that somebody was going to come and jump that passing route on him, and so he kind of had a false start, and that kind of screwed things up.
Almost put it in his own goal in the overall process. Winding down past the 6.5-minute mark here in the fourth quarter. Littleton is back on the attack in the Leominster defense. Spilios with the long stick creates the loose ball. And now in transition, he'll race it down the field. He'll find Babbo. Babbo was on the doorstep, tried to find Taylor for the one-hander, and he couldn't reel it in. And the loose ball flag is out now on the play. It's a long whistle. It favors Littleton. This one bounces loose. Littleton may get an opportunity in transition. Racing downfield with the long stick. That one lost out by Leduc. And Leominster tries to get on top of it to get the whistle for the stoppage on the penalty. And the whistle now comes. 5:54 to play here in the fourth quarter.
What do we got? Oh, Sam Babel picking up the flag.
Picking up the flag for him.
There you go.
Here comes the report. And so a slash called on Gio Armand. A 1-minute penalty. Man-up opportunity here for the Tigers. This is the kind of opportunity they've got to capitalize on if they want to race back into this game. 5:54 to play in the fourth quarter, trailing by 5.
This is only the third flag against Leominster in the entire game. Again, 6 flags were thrown against Littleton in the second quarter alone.
And they're slow playing this first few seconds of the minute. The flash there, they couldn't hit the pass to DeCoste. Loose ball will bounce long. Keller erases it down. And a penalty called against the Tigers. And Coach Mike Blanchard is incensed over on the near side. Hat off, slaps the thigh. Not thrilled. Leominster with the ball in transition and down a man looking to kill this penalty. Flag is out again on the play. It is going to be a long whistle to favor Leominster. Lyons flips it for Broussard. Takes a spear from the long stick. Continues down the right sideline. He'll feed Babbo. Leominster just taking their time, killing their opportunity, and then potentially going to go on the man up here. The flag is out. This is Lyons. Lyons getting bothered by the long stick, tries to knock it loose. It was poked away across the end line. Here comes the whistle and the penalty report.
Blue, 25, offside, 30 seconds.
Offside called against Littleton, and it's a 30-second penalty, and now they're going to spend the timeout. 4:54 to play here in the fourth quarter here on Rivalry Family Media. Great to have you along with us, and the Tigers want to talk things over. Trailing by 5 and about to go man down for 30 seconds.
And that should be their final timeout of the half. They had already used one previously, I believe. We don't see that reflected on the scoreboard yet, but
great to have you along with us on opening day of the spring season here at Doyle Field in Leominster. Great to have you along with us. Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, and you. Great to have you joining us here on Rivalry Family Media. We thank you so very much for joining us. Again, the game's available on demand later on this evening on YouTube or right here on Facebook.com/Media Rivalry. Right away. Games begin. You can go right back right now. Watch that Leominster 15-7 victory in girls lacrosse. Scrolling down, or maybe a little further down than that, you can watch the announcement. Leominster and Fitchburg playing twice a year on the football gridiron. That news from earlier this week in a special that was exclusively right here on Rivalry Family Media as well.
Breaking news. I love it.
We love it.
And I think that's a great move between the Fitchburg and Leominster athletics departments, the ADs getting together and creating this create that excitement to open the season, and then we know what we're getting on Thanksgiving.
And it's because it's so difficult to find those non-conference opponents. It's, you know, because of the way that the strength of schedule is and the statewide playoff is, it's not easy to find a non-conference opponent. So
and you wonder about the dynamics of playing a team twice in the same season, but it's going to be 2 months between games, more 2.5 months between games. I'm all on board with it. I think it's a great idea.
Indeed. Clock has been running here in stadium. And they have...
I've got 5:54.
4:54.
4:54. Pardon me, Mike. 4:54.
4:54.
I'm dyslexic, apparently. Now
4:54.
I get my numbers mixed up.
On the correction there is, the timeout had peeled off of the main board clock. So they will get that set. Leominster with the 8-3 lead.
And I think you were correct about the timeouts. That could have been Littleton's second time out of the half. I believe they're
Look
out
at
of
me.
timeouts.
I'm on it today.
According to the board,
paying attention, am I?
Timekeeper at the bell over here.
I just backed
I absolutely
Mike up.
love that. I love that. I absolutely love that. Boxing is another one of those sports, Bill Thomas. It's on the RFM agenda. Just got to find a fight to do. Love that boxing.
I'll box you.
No. I'm no Logan Paul or anything like that. No, thank you. You know, I may stream online, but there is no way. No, thank you. Pass.
We could have done a hockey game and maybe a boxing match.
It may break out. Yeah, may very well happen.
Those are fun.
Back to the action.
Indeed. This is Taylor from Babo.
Oh,
back of the cage.
Nice.
4:29 to play in the fourth. Leominster, 9 goals today.
Babineau, 24. He's got to have 5 assists of those 9 goals, and I think he's got a couple of goals himself. But he's really working that corner and that outer edge, and he's finding that center man.
.429 to play in the fourth quarter. Leominster increases their lead to 6. It's 9-3 Blue Devils. Once again, taking advantage of a man-up opportunity.
Look at you.
Half of Leominster's goals, I think, have been scored in the man-up.
I would
close
say
to
I'd
it.
say close to it.
Yeah.
I know at least 4, maybe 5.
And whistle stop the action. Procedure call against Littleton on that face-off, and so Leominster will get the ball back. Racing downfield, the as-yet unnamed 23. I'm sure he has one, but we don't have it. This one
hopefully down there right now.
going the other direction. This is Deshays.
Hopefully his grandmother's not watching.
That's right. Keeps it up the sidelines. Why
We'll
it
hear
bothers
about
me
it.
so much not to be able to get their names.
Yep.
Lochen. Racing. Taken away that time. It looked like it was Binkowski out on the field. Pushed down in this sense. Armand, no check it. Vitone with the push. Tigers will keep the ball on the restart.
A little cross-check there. I'm surprised he didn't pick up a penalty.
Indeed.
Well, a little more than a push. Play on, though.
This is Daniels. Daniels goes around the world. Front of the cage. Shot ripped wide of the mouth. And out of play. Backed up by the Tigers.
Everybody pointing their sticks, looking for that call.
That's my favorite part, Bill Thomas. That's when the old auction breaks out and everybody tries to buy the product. Yep, we got it.
I got it. Oh,
and I was going to say that's a giveaway of an unforced error. 3:38 to play in the fourth quarter. Yikes. Dallaire will have the ball in the restart for the Blue Devils.
Tough when you give it away in their offensive zone like that. Littleton trying to fight back.
Racing down the sideline goes Iacey. Nice pirouette right around the 40-yard line. Spins toward the middle of the field and throws on the brakes. No hurry necessary. He'll leave that one on the ground for Calais, who returns to action.
Leominster looking just to burn clock right here. Clock's their friend.
Jake Tossie gets a first touch today. He'll cycle it around for Broussard.
I think it just dropped about 4 degrees.
I was going to say, I can feel as we go under 3 minutes here, the temperature comes down. Certainly coming up for baseball action tonight, third game of the triple-header. Going to be a little chilly at the upper field. We're looking forward to bringing it to you. Rivalry Family Media First. A little baseball action.
I brought the parka with me and the heated blanket.
I'm going to need my parka and among other things.
Got you. Hat.
In transition, yes.
I gotcha.
Bouncing ball was ultimately scooped up there by DeCoste.
It There's something else you needed me to get, and I can't
With
remember.
layers, many layers.
Many layers.
A
Yep.
tent with a heater.
And
Yeah,
that
that
was-
too. And there's a
Oh.
shot and a score.
Littleton scores there.
And Leominster will peel that one out of the back of the net.
see
Witherell
who that
gets on
was.
the board.
Witherell. Number 8.
That's the most awful hand motion I've ever seen you make. He had the previous goal in the third quarter as well with 2:08 remaining for Littleton as well.
I believe we had a goalie change there as well, because that is not
Yep, correct.
Devin Smith.
No,
that just
Devin's right
surrendered
over
that
here,
goal.
number 17.
So there was a goalie change there, and the number is not on the front of the jersey. So we'll get that number.
18, 1-8.
18.
18's in goal.
Trevor Gorman in for the Blue Devils as Coach Davis aims for some new blood out there, try to get him some experience. Welcome to the action. Surrenders a goal in the first shot faced.
I do want to thank the gentleman from Littleton who's in the press box with us.
Been
He is
excellent.
right on top
Most
of
helpful.
everything.
I believe we have a new Rivalry family media expert on this sport. Flag is out on the play. This one scooped up. Nice save made there by Carroll, the freshman. Penalty coming up here.
2 minutes if this flag is.
Blue 18. Illegal check. 2 minutes. Locked in.
Yep, so he's locked in for the game.
Perry will get locked in. That's Cole Perry, the freshman, gets called for an illegal hit, and Coach Mike Blanchard would like an explanation. And Coach Blanchard going to do a little educating over here on the near side of the freshman defender who's ultimately trying to learn. I mean, hey, whether he played youth lacrosse or whether this is a first opportunity experience, it's a learning experience. 2:05 to play here in the fourth quarter. Leominster will play +1 for the remainder of the action.
See if they push the offensive issue here or just look to run out the clock.
I think you'll see Coach Davis just run it out.
Take this one to the finish.
Like we were saying, with 6 seconds left, nothing was going to happen.
This is. I was going to say we've been right on the spot thus far today.
I wouldn't anticipate.
Oh,
that.
look at
Brassard rips the shot, side of the cage. Leominster
know.
backed up that one. Carroll might have got a little piece of it.
And like you say, Kate, there's some clean uniforms out there, and you
There
can't
are.
expect those kids not to play.
Yep.
96 seconds left here in the fourth quarter.
You know, we see it in football. You know, you just can't tell kids to lay down when they get their first action in the middle of the fourth quarter.
Lions loses this one. Over to the near side. And that one poked away into the ground it goes.
I think we got a penalty there, or a little push. Oh, Littleton's going to get possession.
Down in transition, bounce shot is knocked down there by Gorman. So, thus far, Bill Thomas, save percentage, 50%.
Yep.
One shot, one goal given up, and then a giveaway. But then second shot and a save, so you're 1 out of 2. Loose ball here in the final 40 seconds of this one.
Defense covers up for him.
This one goes long downfield. Tried a little touch pass in transition. Back and forth we go. First touch there, this is Chong. Chong loses this one. Swept along with the long stick. Back between the feet of another long stick. Another flag is out on the play. And that will come in the waning seconds of this one.
White 12. Unnecessary roughness.
12 white.
And that is Jake Tossie, the junior, gets called for the penalty here in the waning seconds of this one.
I didn't know there could be unnecessary roughness in this game.
Thus far, Bill Thomas, in what you've seen, right? Hard to believe that there might actually be such a thing as unnecessary roughness in this sport. On the restart, away we go. This is Witherell. Witherell rips a shot, knocked down successfully by Gorman. Loose ball to the floor / field goes AAC. Loose ball, another whistle. There was a push. 9 seconds left. And here comes the restart for Dylan Lochen. Final 9 ticks of this one.
Hope to get one more goal before time runs out.
Lochen tried to split the defense, goes lefty shot, ripped wide of the post. Not gonna happen. Tigers started out in a flurry. Officials will race in. There was a little kind of making sure everybody goes their separate ways at the conclusion of this one.
Exchanging pleasantries.
Indeed. Leominster a winner today, 9-4 the final. After going down early once again, Bill Thomas, Leominster battles back into this one to win 9-4 here at historic Doyle Field. The Blue Devils, boys and girls, arrange the sweep in lacrosse action over Littleton today. And Bill Thomas, you know what? Battle back into the game, find your way back in, and once you're in, it's been an impressive offensive performance, capitalizing on opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. And we know that the Blue Devils fell behind big their first game. I believe you said it was 6-1.
6-1, first quarter.
And they battled back to win that game in overtime. Nice display here by the kids. Let me
both sides.
Pan back here a little bit. And But they fell behind early 2-0 in the first 5 minutes of the game today, but battled back and took control and never took their foot off the gas.
No question about that. Players finding each other, coaches finding each other out there. Coach Colin Davis got to be pleased. His Blue Devils 2-0 over two of the perennial powers in lacrosse. We've said it's a new sport here in central Massachusetts and in Massachusetts writ large, but there have been some perennial teams. Neshoba has been a great one. Wachusett's been a great one. Littleton's been a great team over the last so many years as well. And Leominster takes 2, 1 each, boys and girls today. That's a huge, huge point for Coach Colin Davis's program. Certainly got to feel good.
I mean, it's a great way to set the tone in the pod. You know, you're going to be coming around and playing these teams again, but coming in 1-0 on the rematch is always a lot better than down 0-1, especially when it comes to playoff seedings. We know all the teams in the pods are going to make the playoffs, but seedings are important. You want a home game, and you know you want everything to work to your advantage. And we know they're going to have spring playoffs of some sort. At least they're talking about it. So we'll have to see how this plays out going forward. But you know, we talked about 700 days between the lacrosse teams playing a game in anger, so to speak. You wonder who it was going to hurt more. Was it going to hurt the more skilled teams that are used to that success, or was it going to hurt the teams that have always seemed to struggle and to find success? At this point, it seems to have helped the team that needed to find some success as opposed to the team that's been most successful the last 5 years. Leominster off to a great 2-0 start, and you know, beating two of the powerhouses, the perennial powerhouses. You couldn't ask for a better way to start the season.
And that is, you know, kind of the name of the game, Bill Thomas. Certainly play it well, take it away historically from a perennial powerhouse and really be able to build on that through the rest of this year and then on into next. A lot of young players for this Leominster program. Limited number of seniors, and the names we kept calling all day long, sophomores and juniors.
Yeah, and one of the biggest questions was the goalie. You know, what were they going to do for keeper, because they lost their keeper to a college program. And, you know, it's great to see them find somebody to step right in and, you know, to take over that position and, you know, be successful right out of the chute. You know, you never know, new players, new positions. You know, and also let's look at the midfield work. I think coach said in his notes he had one returning midfield with varsity experience, and they played like a well-oiled machine at midfield and getting that ball upfield and then getting into good offensive possession situations. Leominster was able to do all of those things today.
Leominster a winner, 9-4, the final in the middle game of our triple header today here on Rivalry Family Media. 9-4, Leominster's boys over Littleton. Blue Devils improved to 2-0 in the early season. Littleton's Tigers 1-1. If you had joined us earlier on, Leominster also winner on the girls' side, 15-7 the final in game number 1 of our triple header. And now we close out triple header action coming up with Leominster and Neshoba baseball. That game set to begin with a first pitch at 6:30 here at historic Doyle Field. We'll be with you at 20 minutes past 6 on Rivalry Family Media, slightly relocated to our upper field broadcast location.
Hopefully.
We're looking forward to bringing you that one as well. For now, for Bill Thomas and Kate Robbins, I am Todd Robbins, saying thank you so very much for joining us for some exciting lacrosse action. More to come. Boys lacrosse back in center stage Thursday night, 5:30. We'll be here 5:20 with that action for you coming up this very Thursday for Leominster and Marlborough right here on Rivalry Family Media. Until then, we thank you all so very much for being a part of our family. And until 6:30 tonight with baseball action, we say so long, everybody.